Alright, so here's my attempt at a dust collection over the blade system for my my Delta 36-725 T2. I love my saw, but trying to cut anything on this thing, especially MDF or whatever, makes a heck of a mess pulling back towards you when you're cutting. So I thought, what better way to do something to try to use what's already there, use a wrapping knife, and the actual current part of the blade guard that's on the Delta table saw, to see what I can come up with here. So this is what I've come up with so far. These are the side pieces. So what I've done is I've 3D printed these things are basically kind of plugs, which snap into here. I got one for each size. There's 3, 6, 7 different sizes. I've got 7 there and 7 for the other side. What I'm going to do is take these little pieces, put them into here, and I'm actually going to glue these in. Just a dab of super glue on the ends there, and that'll hold those in. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll come right back. Alright, so once these are all glued in, you end up with something that looks like this. So all the little holes on the side of the actual guard itself are all plugged. And these are all tapered on the outside, so anytime these are going to be suction inward, it'll keep them from falling out as well. But I decided to glue these in, that way I don't ever have to worry about these things coming apart. Now, that's this part. Those are the sides, those are done. Now, we're going to take this piece that we have here, and I want to find a way to utilize these holes and all this stuff here as well, which sits over the top of the blade. And so what I want to do is actually utilize this part of the blade guard that sits over the top, currently that attaches to the back of the routing knife right there. So I designed and came up with this little piece right here. So this little guy, it's got those two little part here with 2 little ribs on it that'll fit down into this part of the hole, and this part here locks over the front part of this, keeping everything in place. So then what you end up with is something that looks kind of like this. So you take this piece here, this just snaps, hooks underneath like so, and then this little piece fits down inside the hole, and then when you click it in, it locks into place. So that's all locked into place, and now what we have to do from here is attach the top piece, which is another 3D piece that I printed. This little guy goes from there up to a 2.5 inch hose on this end, and we're going to take that and we're going to attach this into this part right here. And the tolerances are pretty tight, but there, it snaps into place, and that's a perfect fit. So I'm going to glue that in there, and we'll move on to the next part. Okay, so now one side is all glued in there nicely. So we're left with all this now as one piece. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to reattach the 2 sides with the 2 screws that came with us, right here and right here, utilizing the same parts. Oops. Utilizing the same parts that actually came with the saw, so we can maintain our guard itself and the factory look of this, I guess, if we want to call it that. So I'm going to attach these 2 screws, one here, this side and the other side, and then we'll come back. So now both pieces are attached back on each side, and then we're basically left with our same stock guard as before, except now we have the holes plugged. This piece inside here, which is attached extremely securely, that's never coming off. Well, it'll come off, I guess, if you take it off, but it won't pop off accidentally. And this will also allow as well for full movement of this piece as well. So this moves up and down inside as necessary depending on the height of the blade. So what we're going to do now is take this over and attach this to the riving knife of the table saw, and we'll show you how that works. So here is the Delta 36 725 T2 with the 10-inch blade, and the riving knife is attached securely to the back here, and it's on the upper attachment point, I guess, as opposed to the lower one, which is for like not through cutting. But anyway, so it's set to be, I guess, for like a normal cutting. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our blade guard that we just assembled here, and then we're going to take all of this. So this is just going to attach right over the top of the back of this, just like it came from the factory. So that clips right over the top, and then over the blade guard, and to lock it in place, like so. And then we have now all of this is attached to the table saw, blade guard, and the suction, and everything is attached up to here. The reason why I want to block these sides as well, so we don't get too much air going in through the side. So we want to try to focus the suction as much as possible from the material coming over the blade, and then we want that to go up inside of the extractor itself. So what we want to do is we want to have that sit there perfectly like that, and then whenever we're cutting something, grab this piece of 3/4 inch MDF that I used before. So as this actually goes through, it goes underneath this way. Now the only thing that we do have right here, if you can see this or not, is underneath this little white piece that we just built, there's a bit of a gap there. And we don't want that gap, so we want to have basically something there to help the dust, convince it, if you will, to follow this little curved path here, up into here, so that we can extract it using the dust collector itself. So what we're going to do is attach another little piece of plastic that I printed off just on the front, and I'll show you how that goes in 1 second. Okay, so what I've done is attach a little tiny piece of plastic here, like a little flap that's flexible and it moves. So it's meant to go under when you actually slide wood from down below. So you see this at the bottom here, sliding piece of wood underneath. See this actually sheet this on here. See that little plastic piece right there, slides up and goes over the top of the wood now. Just like move this out of the way and see just as easy. So then as it goes underneath, it forces the dust basically to go up that little ramp and then into the dust collector itself. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but it'll be better than, you can see it there, how kind of goes underneath. And so this is, again, if it's too high, we can bring the blade down, even just to there. Works out fine. It'll go underneath, and it'll go underneath, and it'll follow that whole thing the whole way through. So now what I'm going to do is, on the top here, we have the connection for the dust extractor. Now there's a little bracket I'm going to put on the top here, which allows the hose to swivel. So I'm going to put that on, or I'm going to get the pieces anyway, and we'll put that on, and I'll show you how that works. Alright, so here are the two pieces that attach to the top. So there's two, like, halves, and there's a groove 3D printed into this piece here. And so this will actually fit over this. And once you attach it, there's a rib on this piece right here, which allows this to pivot on the top. So if you have a dust collection hose on here, it won't bind if you happen to move or twist it or anything like that. So I'm going to attach these two pieces together. Just uses 2 screws. Attach that together, and then we'll hook up the dust collection hose, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so now we have the piece attached to the top, and then the 2 screws have been tightened there and there. And so then now with the hose on, this allows us to swivel. So if you happen to move the hose either way, it won't bind. Again, you don't have to use this whole piece, but I think it's quite handy and very useful. But if you don't want, you can attach the hose as well right to the top of the this riser piece that's on the dust collector itself, and that'll work just fine. So what we're going to do now is fire this up, and we're going to make a cut with some MDF here, and we're going to see how this works. Okay, so we have our piece of MDF. We're all ready to go. Saw is all good to go. The hose is connected. And that's the old trusty remote for the dust collector. So we're going to fire this up, turn on the dust collector and the saw, make a cut, and we'll see what kind of dust kickback we get from this and how this works overall. Well, there we have it. Yeah, we had like hardly any dust at all come through the front of this thing, which has been awesome. Now, there's a bit of dust that kicks up from the back here, so we may have to try to figure out something to do with that yet. But then I not have the actual table saw dust collector hooked up either. Just the over the blade one, nothing else at this point. But just to show you that, I'll do one more cut. I'll do with the blade guard suction thing off, just to see how much dust comes back from MDF on this side. Okay, the adapter has been removed, and we're going to cut the same piece of 3/4 inch MDF without having the overblade on it, and we'll see what kind of dust kickback we get here. And I'm pretty sure we know what we're going to see, but just to show you how this works. So dust collector, saw on, and we do a cut, and then we'll turn this back off. I'm not sure how easy that was to see on camera, but I got dust everywhere and all over my shirt at the same time. So this definitely makes a difference, especially with the MDF stuff. So what I'm gonna do is hook them both up and see what kind of works we get with everything pulling on this. But overall, with this little, very simple adapter, really, and again, attaches right to the stock piece from Delta, makes our overblade dust collection very easy and very effective. Yeah, so these are all 3D printed parts again. I'll have the link for the parts in the description down below. And any questions at all, please let me know. Thanks.